It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean fresh.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Krebs COH replay cast. I hope you're all having a very wonderful day today because I have a very wonderful game for all of you to enjoy. Now this is going to be probably the hardest game I've had to cast in a long time. I actually did cast the entire length of this game and found out that the audio did not record, and that was on my old headset. And basically, if you have been seeing the little messages that have been left on the channel, I have been having a little bit of difficulties with my headset, so I bought a brand new one. Having some more difficulties with this brand new one, but hopefully it is okay. What was wrong with my old headset? Well, I forgot to turn on the on button, and that is so upsetting because in all the months that I've had it, I have never turned it off. I can't even recall turning it off, and I can't believe such a little mistake was overlooked. But anyway, so brand new headset. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. And I was originally going to cast this game with one of my friends, Bezarek, and we've been friends since COH. And it's just really nice that I've been able to catch up with some of these people that I used to play a lot with back in the day. Well, back in the days only a few months ago, but we had a really, really good time. We had our own little group of friends, and it was absolutely great. And he was going to do this, but he had a bit of technical difficulties, so it looks like it's just going to be me. Now then, just before we get on to this, there is one person I really, really want you guys to check out, and I just recently added him to my co-casters little box on my channel, and that is B3N Killer, Ben Killer. He is one of my friends from COH as well, Martin, and I found out that he has a channel, and he does some really, really cool little videos about company heroes, and he also has this little remix about greatness from a long time ago, a few years ago, somewhere down near the bottom of his upload list, and it's really, really entertaining. I think you guys should give him a look and hopefully subscribe, because if he does and he sees all these like subscribers coming out of nowhere, maybe he'll get a surprise and bring out some more cool stuff. So anyway, let's get on to this game. This is actually a very entertaining game. I would say I had a quick skim over it, but I actually did record the entire game already. But anyway, this game is featuring Mr. OField playing as the Brits, the red team, versus his opponent, Stalin, the Wehrmacht, the blue team, and this is on the map Langres. Keep on mistaking Angleville and Langres, but this is definitely Langres. And we have a motorcycle and an MG supporting each other, fighting against these little infantry sections. Now then, this is actually a very entertaining replay because in my opinion, the Brits are the star of the show this time around. They have played a very different sort of style that we don't usually see from the Brits. Usually we see heavy infantry strategies from the Brits that usually turn into some sort of armored command truck sort of thing. And this is totally different, and that's what I liked about him. This is why he's definitely the star of the show. So anyway, onto the replay. So we have a bit of a flanking squad coming over on the right-hand side of the MG. The MG not setting itself up to try and take out this infantry section, but no matter, because the motorcycle is getting right in there, trying to do something, but getting a bit too close and taking so many bullet damage holes to his back tank of gasoline, and boom, he exploded in a flash of light and blazing glory. All the men on that motorcycle are dead. That is quite an unfortunate sort of thing. I find it kind of funny in this game how you can't dismount and mount motorcycles. It's just sort of funny that the the guys just driving the motorcycle just stay on there and die even when the motorcycle is flaming. But anyway, so the Wehrmacht have been entirely pushed off from Mr. OField. From the map, what it looks like, because the Brits are actually, well, quite forward, and the Pioneers are just putting down a little mine here. Now this is sort of funny, this made me giggle a little bit. The headquarters command truck is actually put down in the wrong place on the map. If we switch over to OField, he's only got plus 10 ammunition, and now he actually set up his HQ command truck and then set it down back somewhere else in his HQ sector, not actually putting it down on this little tiny portion of the ammunition points, so kind of an overlook by him probably, and he is not getting any bonuses from that ammunition point, and it's kind of too late now to pack that up and get back onto the munitions, since that would be so time costly. So the Wehrmacht are trying to cap away this little strategic point to no avail, being aggressed by an infantry squad, but no matter, because the Volksgrenadiers have two Volksgrenadiers. There is little brothers supporting each other. We do have an MG Vickers machine gun emplacement coming down from OField. I absolutely love this because most people, most Brits, usually like being very aggressive and going just like pretty much strictly for their infantry. And when you start seeing a very strategic sort of Vickers, this is just sort of appreciates that this Brit player might be pretty good since he knows what he's doing. I would actually like if this manpower point was captured and he moved this Vickers a little bit forward so as to cover this little section over here. But no matter, because it has this great big area that will definitely be doing a lot of hassle as it already has been. So the MG just replacing itself because it obviously is aware that there is an infantry section right here. And going to be obviously doing a bit of damage, suppressing them. Can it pin them down before they capture the point? Oh, I don't know. Oh, yes, he has. Well done, Mr. MG. You have totally pinned them down. The lieutenant trying to do something, but to no luck whatsoever. Just having to retreat and take some damage and not being able to accomplish anything. So we have a little infantry section moving at its default, very, very slow pace, moving towards the MG. Obviously not going to get in there. The MG is going to be a lot speedier. It definitely needs a lieutenant to speed it up. But the MG just suppressing it, no bother. And two Volksgrenadier squads coming in around from the side. What is this going to do? Putting them in the little building to get some cover. This is interesting. How is a Brit going to counter this? This is a lot of defensive sort of maneuvering right now. He's going to be moving the Volks behind the hay bale. No, it looks like he's moving it from the hay bale. This is the cover is directional. Even though it might have a green shield, they can easily still punch away at them. And what is this? 2 stars? We have 2 lieutenants on the field. So lieutenants very useful, especially 2 of them. They have stackable and non-stackable abilities. So kind of an interesting choice by the British. Usually by this point in the game they would definitely have gone for their field support. But instead he has opted out for going for 2 lieutenants. And that is pretty interesting, an interesting choice indeed. So those lieutenants are obviously going to give some bonuses onto the infantry. And I believe the lieutenants actually got quite a bit of a workaround in 2.602. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I believe their non-stackable damage weapon increase or something like that has increased, but their infantry or their stackable weapon damage has decreased. But I believe there's been quite a bit of details about that and balanced a bit, so you definitely have to check out the release notes for the absolute details, as my mind is sort of like a goldfish but not as bad. So anyway, the Brits still pounding away at the Volksgrenadiers. We do have a bit of smoke, so where did that come from? That is sort of an interesting sort of thing. It probably came from the little grenades over here. And just throwing a bit more attacks on the enemy. And that smoke is actually very good, because as you guys can see, this MG was trying to suppress them and did manage to suppress them, but only after capturing the little point over here. So pretty good use of the smoke barrage. And so we just have a pack just sitting away here. So what could this mean? We do have our T2 out from Mr. Stalin. And he also has a Kampfkraft Center. So the Kampfkraft Center can only be brought out after an initial building has been built. That being either the Wehrmacht quarters, either the Krieg barracks, either the forward HQ, either the Sturm Armory or the tank depot. And then it can be built. So the Kampfkraft Center is out, and that means there's going to be some sort of veterancy. Considering that there is a investment in Grenadiers, it's most likely going to be infantry veterancy, and that is what we see. So #1 veterancy on the infantry at the moment. The pack doing away with some shots on the Vickers, but the sappers trying to repair it. This is a race between who can repair faster. the sappers or the little pack. And it seems kind of like a tie. The pack is winning this battle a little bit as the Vickers is on fire. And these infantry trying to get in there on the pack, landing right on the mine. So we have mines like about everywhere, and oh my gosh, the lieutenant was just taken out by retreating onto a mine. How unfortunate. Even those little bonuses that you receive whilst retreating is not enough to save the lieutenant. Now we also have a little medic bunker out, so this is definitely a heavy investment into infantry. Just because if you got so much infantry and you have a medic bunker, as you guys can see, the medic is picking up all the wounded little men. Oh no, this guy disappeared. But his little bloodstain is left. Oh, is this little flowers? Oh my gosh, I never recognized this. So there's pebbles and there's flowers. I never knew there's flowers in this game. That is amazing. But anyway, I thought there was only pebbles in this. Well, well done to THQ for putting flowers into this game. I suppose that's sort of a neat little something to notice. Okay, so the pack moving back in. We got the MG42 just packing itself up. The little rifle grenades shooting right over the hedges. Not minding obstacles whatsoever. And we also have our field support truck. So the field support truck is down. That's why we saw the sappers. Then we also have the casualty clearing center. And what was that over there? Was this a 17-pounder? No, it's a 25-pounder. This is a 25-pounder gun howitzer. So artillery is going to be very early in the game. This is going to be such a big hassle for the Wehrmacht. How will the Wehrmacht survive against all these artillery barrages? Well, I guess we'll just have to find out. So the howitzer is just finished from the sappers with their little pits. We have another Brit squad landing right on the mine. Now, I do like how the Wehrmacht is using these mines. Working very well, but he's putting them in kind of obvious places because they're pretty much on every single choke point, as you guys can see. And if you find out that your opponent is doing such sort of typical mine laying, oh my god, I'm tripping up on my words, mine laying, then it's kind of obvious that they might keep on doing this and putting mines in obvious places. Okay, so there comes the artillery, and what is this? The big Churchill, Mr. Winston Churchill himself. Not quite Winston Churchill, but yes, the Churchill, indeed, the MK4. This means that the Brits have gone for their Royal Engineers, and definitely going to be something interesting to note. These Churchills are very expensive, by the way, 600 manpower to bring one of them on, and he's upgrading with a plow, so very good investment, as he knows that his opponent has put down so many mines in choke point-ish typical places, so this Churchill won't get damaged from those this plow blowing up all those mines. Now then, as you guys can see, the Churchill tank is now 8 population. Overall, all the Churchills were reduced in population by 6. So the Churchill tank and the AVRE were reduced from 14 to 8, and the Churchill Crocodile was just reduced from 16 to 10. So now they are much more viable to get, and sort of a nice welcoming thing for the Brits. Now these grenades are sort of pretty cool. As you guys can see, when they explode, they sort of scatter the Grenadiers, and now the Grenadiers are also on their Veteran Suit 2, upgraded for Panzerschreck just in the nick of time as we have that Churchill out. So the Panzerschreck and the pack should be enough to handle one Churchill. Lieutenant retreating back home, obviously cannot muster enough Bruce Lee strength to take on all of this Volksgrenadiers and MG. And more grenades, as you guys can see, just loads of these little pits shooting up in the air and totally landing on them. And the Grenadiers retaliating with their own little grenade right over the hedges and landing right on the PS. As you guys can see, these PS really are not that much effective against the Grenadiers ever anymore since their little nerf against infantry. Rightly so anyway, because they are PS, they are anti-tank. So is Churchill just kind of being casual, just chilling out, just minding his own little business. Had enough of the day just plowing the mines. And not much else coming out from the Wehrmacht in terms of teching up. And let's check out the Brits. Now then, they just pretty much still have the same base, a little lull in the game. Now then, if we're going to be talking about, say, what the Brits could do next, infantry is going to be a very good thing, but this is going to be a sort of, kind of an iffy thing. If your opponent is going for a Churchill, the Churchill tank, the next thing that he might go for is possibly hull down, which is on the left-hand side of the Royal Engineers doctrine. Or he could continue up the Churchill tree and get a Churchill AVRE. And as you guys might know, the AVRE is absolutely devastating against infantry. This could be very interesting to see what happens. And whilst that is happening, we have a big flank, a big attack here. Oh my gosh! 2 Volksgrenadier squads, half of the fighting force, especially the anti-infantry, absolutely blasted away from the artillery from the 25 pounder. We didn't really see the 25 pounder doing that much, but thankfully it has lived up to its name of taking out stuff and being very destructive. In the meanwhile, the Panzer Grenadiers, or the Grenadiers, just destroyed the Vickers emplacement. And we have the Brits retaliating with their little Churchill, trying to circle around the pack as the Grenadiers are busy trying to retreat. The pack quickly turning itself around as the Churchill is on the retreat, but the Churchill is so slow, even on the road. If we look at this, look how slow it is. This is absolutely a snail pace for a tank, and its damaged engine, fortunately enough for the Churchill, it is out of the reach of the Pack 38, so it will not be taking any more shots. But as you guys saw, on the back armor, we do have the engine exposed now from too much of those shots. This Churchill is going to need repaired. Okay, so just recovery of the map right now. It does seem like if we switch on over to the tactical map, that the Brits are pushing on STALLIN at the moment. STALLIN is really falling back, and it does seem like STALLIN is sort of late on his teching. This is most likely due to the fact that he is sort of pushed back on the fuel right now. He does not have much in terms of fuel. His fuel is cut off over here. He does have the most western fuel point, but however, he has mostly infantry and just a pack. Not much in terms of tanks at the moment, so we'll definitely have to see what comes out of that. He has opted out for the Blitzkrieg doctrine, as you guys might see. So this could be a method of him getting tanks. And that's a sort of funny thing. The tanks, though, cost manpower, and they cost quite a lot of manpower. But it really is no worry for the... Oh no, gosh, there's a big shell coming towards these Grenadiers. But still, it's no big worry, because if you go for infantry and you invest heavily into a medic bunker, then you'll save a lot of manpower over the long run. So that's something to keep a note of. You have more manpower, and thus you can bring out some tanks from the Blitzkrieg, so no problem there. So we do have the Churchill AVR, and the Churchill, the normal one, was taken out by something. I believe it must have been the Panzer Grenadiers with their Panzerfausts, or the Grenadiers with the Panzerfausts, as they were close enough over there. Now the Churchill AVRE, the AVRE standing for Armored Vehicle Royal Engineers, living up to the name of the doctrine. This thing, behemoth of a nozzle, as you guys can see. I believe I was reading up on it a bit. Apparently, in World War II, when they had to refill the nozzle with the shell, the next shell. Since they were so big, they actually had to have somebody go on the outside of the tank to actually load it into the Churchill, thus exposing themselves to oncoming fire. But this is a gigantic thing. The Churchill AVR has no sort of default attack of its own. However, with the, I believe, about 35 ammunition, they can call on a big mortar shell that devastates buildings and infantry. And as you guys can see, the fact that a mine was right underneath these Grenadiers really does not help them out. The explosion of that shell devastating the mine, devastating the Grenadiers, having to force them to retreat. So really, the Wehrmacht are so pushed back. The only thing keeping them in place at the moment is just these little defensives. So the MG42, the pack, but really they are being pushed on. The Volksgrenadiers over here are just trying to do something. Whether they can do something, it looks like they are capping away. But we do have another 25 pounder coming out from the Brits, so they did lose that one howitzer during that one little attack from the Grenadiers. So it's kind of an interesting maneuver by the Brits, but however a very costly one. What they're doing is sacrificing quite a lot of their mobile offensive force into getting some emplacements, stationary emplacements should I say. This is unfortunate. Another of those shots totally decimating or taking out the entire, almost the entire Volksgrenadier squad. And this is what you have to mind about the Churchill AVRE. As it can't normally attack you, what you will find and be very aware of against them is as they're about to call on their little shot, they will rapidly move their turret and then face towards you. So as soon as you see that turret moving on the AVRE, you know you gotta get away from there and retreat immediately or you will be destroyed. So the Churchill, the pounder, 25 pounder should I say, howitzer, is doing a bit of damage on the bunker. It just needs one more man to pick up in order to get a free Grenadier squad, saving 300 manpower. And the little Volksgrenadiers here, something happened there. Maybe they landed on mine, but they did get absolutely destroyed. Okay, so the Grenadiers moving up now, just moving all together in a big group. What is this? How many Panzerschrecks is that? I see 1, 2, 3. I don't believe I see a fourth unless I'm blind, but 1, 2, 3. 3 sounds good. And just trying to do something against these Brit squads. But obviously with Panzerschrecks, they're gonna hardly do anything unless they get lucky shots right in the guts of these men. Here comes the Churchill AVRE, so this is really when you gotta be aware of this tank about to attack you. And I'm just looking out for it, and there you go, guys go, boom! Absolutely taking out this entire Grenadier squad! Oh my gosh! And a very good maneuver by OField. Usually you would see the entire turret of the AVRE move, but since the Churchill was already facing that way, it automatically launched right onto that Grenadier squad. Now that is something you really need to be aware of. Whenever you are about to be attacked by an AVRE, always keep your guys moving, never keep them stationary, and what you can do, but it's sort of risky, is wait for the shell, and as soon as it comes out, retreat immediately. Thus you waste their ammunition on that shell. Okay, so we have a bit of a Stuff 42 coming out, Veterancy 1. But not going to do much against the Churchill, that's for sure. The heavy armor of the Churchill is definitely going to be hard to penetrate. And the howitzer absolutely taking out this pack, taking out the medic bunker before another squad could come out of there. Very unfortunate sort of stuff. But the Stew, just trying to do something. And I do believe I'm going to be calling this the Stew from now on, because somebody was trying to help me out with the pronunciation of this, because priorly I was calling it the Sta, and now I've been calling it the Stew. Apparently the H is silenced or something along that line, so it's the Stew. So hopefully that pronunciation is right. The Stew is trying to do something. Big artillery plumes coming out of the ground as soon as those little shells hit the ground. Very massive plumes. Very, very, very massive plumes. It's kind of funny though, when considering that they make such a massive crater and such a big plume, that they don't usually kill a lot of guys. Kind of unusual, considering that howitzers make just about the same big plume, but they kill a lot more. So we just have the little medic guy, little medic dude, just picking up some of the wounded, trying to get him back into the fight. Another Churchill Crocodile. Ooh, this is not even a normal Churchill coming out. We did actually see the Churchill AVRE being taken out. As you guys can see, you can see the little nozzle there destroyed. What took that out? I am not exactly sure. I believe it might have been the pack. Churchill Crocodile. This beast is even more expensive than the other Churchills, costing in at a whopping 800. Benefit is it's basically the same as the Churchill MK4. However, it does have a flame turret on the front that cannot move rotatably like the turret on the top of the tank. It can only fire forwards. So it's very good anti-infantry, as you guys can see. And I also believe the flamethrowers on just about everything got a nerf and a buff. So their maximum damage was nerfed, however their minimum damage was substantially buffed. So they do more consistent damage. So pretty cool to see that. This is going to be very hard for the Wehrmacht to counter, considering they have mostly infantry and what looks like all their packs have been pwned. So, not exactly sure what to expect. So the Stu doing massive casualties on the infantry section. This lieutenant being very, very bold. But what is the Stu trying to target? He's trying to target the lieutenant, but the lieutenant obviously realizing this and trying to maneuver itself out of the way. The Brits have captured the pack and are turning it around on the Stu, taking it out entirely! Oh my gosh! Now the stormtrooper is throwing a bit of assault grenades on the pack, doing quite a bit of damage and getting in there to try and take it back. Now the pack is very badly damaged. If you guys look at this, this really needs to be repaired by some pioneers before it should be brought back into full fighting strength. So what is this? The howitzer is trying to target something. It's trying to target over here. It just took out... It just took out something. It took out the pack, which I believe might have been recrewed. Is this a Piat? Yes, it is a Piat. And the Churchill crocodile going down. Why? Because there was nothing to counter all this infantry. Just a moment's too late. All this infantry sections from the Brit. Just too late to do anything. Now they are trying, the Grenadiers are trying to take out this 25 pounder. Will they be able to? Will they be able to? No, they are retreating just in case. A very safe option by the Wehrmacht. Well done for that. They did take out the Churchill crocodile. Huge losses. So if we add up all the costs, so 800, 600, 600, that comes out to 2,000 manpower for 3 tanks. Absolutely decimated. There's no Burj Tiger for the Brits either, so they cannot get those back. So big losses for the Brits. And this is the unfortunate thing. You really need to keep your unit preservation up there when you're playing as the Brits, or you will lose a lot of your guys. So a bit of buttoning on the Stu just to reduce its sight range so it cannot attack. Why did they do that? Because they don't have any anti-tank whatsoever. So the 25 pounder howitzer going down. Now this looked like that Stalin was being pushed back to his base, but he's pushing way onto the Brits right now. Look at that huge chunk of damage that the Stu done on the medic casualty clearing center, and bam, going down. The Brits have lost their just pretty much their one little investment of getting more infantry. This is looking severely bad for the Brits at the moment. What would I do in their position? Now that would be very tough. Probably, it's a very awkward position, but I might even go for maybe more crocodiles. Maybe even put down some emplacements. Okay, so here we have another Churchill MK4. So the first one, that's 600 manpower, 8 population. Obviously trying to do something, taking out this little shed, this little shack. And now totally moving in on the field support truck. Nothing to counter it, but here comes the forces of the Churchill and the badly damaged, half health, half manned infantry sections. Wow, doing a lot of damage to the Grenadiers. And even the Pioneers wanting a little bit of that action. Fortunately losing one of their little guys because of that brave little attack. Okay, so the Stu is basically unopposed. The infantry can't even get in close to it. The Stuart or the Churchill can barely even do any damage to it, as you guys saw, just deflecting off, taking a little tiny fraction of the health off. Both opponents really down on their armies right now. The Brits trying to recontrol their victory points. What could come out of this? What could come out of this indeed? This is the good thing about the Volksgrenadiers and the Stormtroopers. They have veterancy too, and they have the MP40s and the MP44, so they're going to be absolutely doing some lethal damage on the infantry sections. That's the last thing that the Brits need at the moment, since their infantry costs so much, as you guys saw, and being taken out like that is just really going to lose you the game. So the Churchill just trying to do some shots, and oh my god, here comes the Tiger. If all of this wasn't bad enough from the Wehrmacht at the moment, the Tiger is really going to set the deal on this game. The Churchill just having to move back because it knows it cannot do anything. It can't even touch the Tiger. And OField admitting, I have no manpower, with a crossed little face. And that is the unfortunate thing about investing in Churchills. If you do not keep them alive, you will suffer the consequences. Especially in terms of manpower. So whatever else little bit is going on, just a bunch of little defense attacks from the Brits, trying to keep the field support truck going. The sappers just trying to keep it alive, but the infantry sections absolutely getting mauled apart. Excellent game by Stalin. And the Stormtroopers moving in for the camouflage because they want to get the kill. And obviously going to about just do this. And this is pretty much sealing the deal. Churchill, just one more shot from the Tiger will easily take it out. And there you go, out of control. Speeding away to its demise. So there we go, guys. The last few seconds of this game, the Stormtroopers just trying to finish them off with a bit of assault grenades, just about to throw them in. Boom, they are stunned. And nothing left from the Brits. Absolutely nothing. They have no infantry whatsoever. Field support truck going down. All they have left is their HQ command truck. Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed this game. I actually really enjoyed it. I booked it on the Game Replays website just because I thought it was very different from the Brits. Even though they lost, I believe they were the stars of the show there. So anyway guys, if you could please check out B3 and Killer on the other co-casters. He does really cool videos. I really hope you guys enjoy them. So anyway, this is Krebs Coho, and I will see you guys later.